In this video, I will review some of the new features of version 7.06. For a complete list of what's new or changed, or fixed, click on the Version History button on the Administrative toolbar. The first new feature is in the Data Manager. Let's bring up William here. Here in the Data Manager, you will now find an expanded area for request off time. Recall previously, you could enter up to 14 individual days off for a single employee. The key here was individual days. Now notice the block of time off area. Here now you have up to 8 blocks of time where you can enter consecutive days off. As in this example, Bill would like 8 days off in a row. So we can enter the first date and the last date and a reason, and the program takes care of the rest. That sure beats having to enter those days one at a time, as was previously the case where you entered them one day at a time. Thanks to Deb at Harmar Foods for that great suggestion. While we are in the Data Manager, another new feature is the ability to include a real photo in this area right here. All you have to do is take a photo and then make sure that photo is placed under Weekly Work Schedule Files Photos, which is a new folder that was created when the installer was run. Select the file, and then that photo will show up in place of the animation that you see here. It's as simple as that. Another new feature is what we call frontline and backline designators. You can now indicate whether a shift is a frontline shift or a backline shift simply by using your mouse. To enable these designators, just click the mouse either on the right-hand side, as in this case here for frontline, or the left-hand side for backline, or if you do not wish to use the designators, click in the center and the designator goes away. Left for frontline, right for backline, center for no designator. In this version, the frontline and backline designators can be shown on individual employee schedules. So for instance, if you email, text, or print out an individual schedule and have designators turned on, then there will be an area on their schedule which will show whether they work frontline or backline. If you do not wish to show these designators but still use them on your scheduling template here, you can turn those designators off in the setup area under Program Options. By default, these designators are turned on. If you wish them to be off, uncheck this box and close. Now when you email, text, or print individual schedules, those designators will not show next to their shift, even though you still see them here on the scheduling template. Let's go back to the setup area and take a look at another new area. Under color options, we've added red, white, and blue. So if you're feeling patriotic, click that radio button next to red, white, and blue. Give it a couple of seconds and you will get an entirely new look. Let's go back to the setup area and take a look at another new feature, which is in the labor settings area. This new feature deals with minimum staffing levels. While previous versions already had minimum staffing levels, we have reworked this area here thanks to a great suggestion by Kevin at Bauer Management. In this area, you will now see a master never below minimum staffing area. This would be kind of the global for the entire day level. So by setting the start and end time to your store hours and a number of employees never to fall below, this will now flag anytime you fall below the number of employees, in this case 2, during this time window of 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., unless you have indicated in other time windows that you wish to use a different minimum level. So for instance here from 8 to 9 a.m., time window 1, we wish the minimum level to be 3. So therefore, 3 will be enforced, not 2. In window 2, from 9 to 10 a.m. in this example, we increase that to 4 employees. And if that isn't enough, if you need additional time windows, click on this little arrow here, and the window will open up or expand. You can have up to 9 individual time windows, each with a different minimum staffing level and different start and end time. The only requirement is that the starting and ending times of those 9 windows cannot overlap. They must be unique. Any time window that is not covered in the 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. time window, say for example 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., which in this example is not covered, The master never below will then kick in and flag that time window if you fall below 2 employees, as we have set up in this particular example. Now, where do you see these minimum staffing levels being flagged? Click on the audit. Once audit has completed doing its thing, you will now notice a new column on the audit report. That column here on the far left-hand area will show you every 15 minutes and the minimum staffing levels which have been set in the setup area. Anytime you fall below those minimum staffing levels, you'll notice a red down arrow giving you a heads up that, hey, you're below the minimum staffing levels. If you're an administrator, on the setup menu and you're logged in as an administrator, you also now have a new option for employee setup. You can now require that all information for new hires be required to be entered. By default, the program allows a quick start for an employee with limited data. However, if you want to have all fields filled out, then check this box and the program will then enforce this new rule. Up near the hours area, notice the new button here. Clicking this button will bring up 4 templates which you can use as a starting point for setting store hours. This is mostly useful for brand new users, which makes it quicker to enter the store hours. While chances are the templates won't match exactly, pick the closest one and then adjust the hours to match what yours are. Those are some of the main new features. For more details on these, check your user manual, which has also been updated to reflect these changes and improvements. Happy scheduling, and thanks for being part of the Weekly Work Scheduler family.